I see what old chaps and chappets, Game Chap and Birdie here.
Yes.
Yes, fellows, and I say we are now discussing here some very interesting points concerning the upcoming Legend of Zelda on Wii U and some things you might not have thought of. Now, indeed, of course, this is something of analysis, so do stick around and listen to what we have to say here, I say.
Most certainly, it's very interesting, and we should have some sort of gameplay and screenshots going along as we're talking, so
That's
keep
right.
watching. But most certainly, yes, Wii U, Zelda, coming out and not predicted, but it's going to come out in 2015. A very, very much anticipated game. Now, the thing is, there's some very interesting points about this game, and indeed the character that perhaps haven't been seen. Now, one of the things is, I do believe that the character, or Link, or the character that's been seen there, is actually right-handed this time.
He is right-handed.
He's left-handed.
That's right. Now, this can be seen when Link was dashing along on Epona and he swung his sword on horseback, as you can now do in this game. But if you look closely, he used his right hand.
Most certainly, yes,
now,
he
that's
did.
unusual for Link, because, of course, as any Zelda fan knows, Link is normally, not always, but normally left-handed, and he held his shield in the right hand.
Yes, most certainly. That was very interesting. Now, the thing is, this raises a good point. Left-handed, or in this case, I mean right-handed Link. Now, the thing is, this character, he doesn't just have this thing where he's holding his sword there in a different hand, but he's also, of course, not in the traditional green.
That's right.
He's got this blue outfit on, as you see, this blue sort
with
of
a cloak
tunic
sometimes.
type of thing, yes. And the thing is, you see, it makes you wonder, is this Link? Is
Yes.
this our Link
Exactly.
that we know, or is it a different character, perhaps?
And actually, we've raised some theories on this in the past. We've said maybe it's not Link at all, for one of them, or I think another theory, a possibility we explored a while back, was whether it could be somehow the son of the Zelda from Skyward Sword somehow.
Very interesting point, yes. Now, of course, Nintendo are holding their cards very close to their chest at the moment.
That's right.
And they've released some information and things, but obviously they're not going to let the whole thing out as yet.
No.
There's going to be some information, but the thing is, there's little tidbits that come out that are interesting to look at, and
Yes.
I wonder what's going to go on here.
That's right. Now, of course, in a previous Zelda game, Twilight Princess, Link was indeed also right-handed in one of those games, because on the Wii version, as opposed to the GameCube game, it was actually mirrored. In other words, the whole world was flipped around for easier use with the Wiimote and nunchuck. So in the Wii version, he was right-handed, but actually, canonically speaking, in terms of the storyline, he was left-handed in that game too.
Yes, most certainly. Which brings us back to that point. Perhaps, maybe we're seeing here, you should have been able to see him on the screen by now, if not, you probably will shortly, but maybe we're looking at here, and indeed the trailer also that they released, of perhaps an early part of the game. Perhaps this is either not Link, or he's going to... it's an ancestor of Link or something like that, I don't know.
Well,
or maybe some form of relative or something, and Link's not in the game yet, we don't know.
It could very invisibly, I should say, be a scenario where we're looking at an early form of Link here, as we've seen sometimes. Often you start off in a village or something, and you have this early version of Link who has to learn the ropes, gather his equipment, etc. and so forth. So that could be what we're looking at here, or alternatively, Nintendo could be showing us an entirely different character, although it's unlike them to do that, I think, old chap.
Well, yes, we don't know. We don't know. We just have to wait and see. But this is a very interesting point there with the right-handedness there, the different tunic colour. There's a lot for fans to sort of, rub their chin and yes, and think about here, and makes it rather exciting, of course. But as I said, Nintendo keeping their cards close to their chest and not telling us everything at the moment.
It's quite, quite hush-hush, and of course only Mr. Aonuma and his team will know the real truth right now. Now, also, there was something quite interesting, I think, old boy, in one of those trailers that I saw, and actually, I'm just going to go and bring it up here.
Right.
When Link cast off his cloak, inside the trailer, you could actually see very briefly some markings on the cloak.
Ah, very interesting.
Right, Phil, so we're actually looking at this live now, and we are studying very closely the markings on the back of Link's cape. Now, what we can actually see here, as I advance the footage, is we have a bit of a crest, it seems. In fact, definitely, I'd say this is almost certainly some kind of crest to do with perhaps the land that Link or this character is currently in. And if you look closely, it's very dissimilar. It's not entirely the same as the previous crests we've seen in Zelda games. For example, the one that appears on the Hylian shield, etc. and so forth. It doesn't feature the Triforce, it doesn't feature the wings, etc. and so forth, as you can see there. It in fact instead features an upward-facing triangle, some kind of scroll there, a downward-facing triangle, and various symbols on the left and the right. Now, this is most unlike anything we've seen before, old chap.
It is very interesting indeed, and a good point to bring up there. I think it's certainly too detailed and in-depth to just be coincidence or just a pattern that he just decided to put on his cloak.
Yes.
It obviously means something. It's got sort of a Triforce shape there in being a triangle, but as you say, not the Triforce at all.
No.
Now, could this, as you say, point towards or depict his clan or perhaps or something where this person's come from? We don't know.
An origin, certainly.
Yes, an
of course,
origin.
I thought of the symbol of the Sheikah, but it's not them either, old chap. This is a new symbol for the Zelda series, I think.
Yes, indeed, which points again to what we were saying. Perhaps this character is either not Link or Link at an early stage or before he becomes Link down in the future or whatever, down in the generations.
Yes.
We don't know. But that is very interesting. That's a definitive and certain cresting on the cloak there, on the cape, and we haven't seen anything like it before.
No, so something to keep your eyes open for there, fellows. And of course, Link's appearance is transformed from the cloaked and caped Crusader to himself after he casts the cape off. And indeed, we can see there also in action his blue tunic, which I don't think has anything to do with the Zoras this time round.
No, indeed, no. Blue tunic, very interesting, and people have been saying, well, what's this blue tunic?
Yes, now just again on the subject of some close-up analysis and inspection here, someone was good enough to piece together a picture of the full map from the game,
yes,
which was actually shown in the trailer with Mr. Miyamoto and Mr. Aonuma. Now, they were keen to emphasize just exactly how big this world was, and as you can see from the full picture here, it really is a large-scale world, but can we perhaps make out some locations and perhaps, well, at least ideas of locations on this map, old chap?
Well, yes, well, firstly, let's say this right away, is that this game, we know now, and they have made a point of saying, is going to be a very large open-world game, the likes of which we've not seen in Zelda games before, apparently.
A very large map, yes,
very
indeed.
large.
It would take a very long time to cross on foot, probably hours, I should think.
Most certainly, and one of the chaps there was saying that, yes, some of those mountains way off over there, you can actually walk to them. They're not just there in display, just rendered in display around the central thing that's going on. They are there, and you can actually walk to them if you've got time in the game. A bit like Skyrim. Now,
yes, Mr. Miyamoto, or one of the two, actually dropped there that the edge of the map is still very much in place in this game, but if we look closely, on the right-hand side there, we have a situation where the edge of the map appears to be water, but on the other borders of the map there, and we can see we are at the furthest zoomed out version of the map, as it were, we appear to have a sort of a mountainous edge to the map there. So I think we have a combination here of both water on the right-hand side and traditional Zelda overworld terrain on the left. So it suggests we perhaps may be seeing some form of way to fast travel, or certainly travel across water. It could be a boat like in Wind Waker.
Well, yes, just looking at the map there, as you say, we've certainly got coastline there,
yes,
and inner land on the left-hand side.
So it's not Skyloft or anything. This is definitely Earth or the ground, as it were.
Certainly. Now, whether you can travel across the sea somewhere else yet, we don't know. This could be just the entire thing here.
Yes.
But I see some interesting rivers there running from the sea into inland.
Yes.
Perhaps you can travel on those, as you say, in boat or something, perhaps. Maybe, we don't know.
Yes, that's right. And of course we can see two large coves or bodies of water there on the map also. Now, one of those could well be, if you ask me, Lake Hylia.
Well, yes, it could be, because that's the thing. Question: where are some of those places? As you say, Hylia, Hyrule Castle, etc. Where are they? Gerudo Valley? Are they in there somewhere? I mean,
yes,
it could well be. I mean, who knows? I
mean, you've got a sort of a deserty sort of colour scheme towards the north there. That could be Gerudo Valley, perhaps. Where also could be Lon Ranch, Kakariko Village, Death Mountain, and the Zora's Domain. If such places do exist in this game, they've got to be there somewhere, old chap.
Well, yes, I think so. It's a sort of very interesting looking map display there, and I think that as we're looking at that, we have to understand that the characters themselves on this map would be very, very small, because it's extremely large indeed.
That's right, and I don't know, would it be perhaps a bit hasty to call that character Link, because we don't know for 100% certain that it is Link, old chap.
We don't.
As we were saying there.
We don't, and I think at first when people saw it, they said, oh, it's the next game, Zelda, it's great, yes, and there's Link. But then as we study it more, we begin to think, well, no, is that Link? Or is it a lead-in to, I mean, Link's got to be in the game, of course.
Well, of course,
or
old chap.
Is it a lead-in to Link, to Link? And also, as I think we said before, could we perhaps be seeing Zelda in this game actually being able to play as Zelda, perhaps?
Well, I don't know. It could be anything at this stage.
Who knows?
Now, just a close-up look at the bow there that Link uses. This is quite an unusual creation. It's not like anything we've seen before. It's tied together with string, of all things, as you can see, but when it actually unfolds and takes its shape, it snaps into place and starts emanating a blue glow and a sudden flash there. Now, it appears to be producing some kind of holographic symbol on the end there. I don't know what that could mean, and it appears to be a fusion of traditional Zelda technology with some kind of advanced equipment equipment and gadgetry there. And
Well, it
actually, oh, I'm mistaken there. The arrow he fired, no, that wasn't the bow, that's the arrow he's firing there,
That's
old
right,
chap.
yes,
That's
yes.
right. So this arrow has some kind of mechanism built in, and it's actually activated by Link pulling it with his fingers, you can see there.
Yes, you're showing that. I think they should be able to see that. Yes, as you say, it's somehow when he pulls it back, it's lifting this arrowhead up, charging it, and then releasing it.
Yes.
Now, I don't think we've seen that sort of thing before in Zelda. And
This
of course,
is new.
Yes, most certainly. And for all you thinkers out there and Zelda players, you will realise that normally he doesn't really have this type of technology until much later in the game. He normally starts with his just basic bow, but here we've got a character here that doesn't really have the traditional Link suit and his shield and everything like that. He's just got this sort of just tunic on, but all of a sudden he's got this high-tech sort of bow that we don't normally see till later on. So what is this?
It's a very good question, old chap. Indeed, it's certainly quite a high-tech piece of gear there. And of course, the monster himself was also emitting a full-fledged laser beam. Now, where on earth would such a monster come from, old boy? What could he be?
Well, very good point. Or are we looking at the future here?
Well,
and then
is
we
it
go
a clash,
back to Link.
A clash of the future versus the past, but
Exactly.
then again,
we don't know where they're going to play this one.
We do know, of course, there's such things as beamos in the Legend of Zelda series that shoot beams from their eyes, so high technology is possible in the universe, but certainly it's very interesting to look and think what those things could be. And then, of course, I'd also like to cover another point. I mean, we saw with Hyrule Warriors what Link and Zelda would look like with printed lines on the screen, but no actual voice acting. Like they were, I don't know, chewing some food on camera or something.
Yes.
All the mouth motions were there. They were making all the right sort of animations, but there was no voice coming out, old chap. And I realised it was done for tradition's sake and to be, to please the fans and that sort of thing, but it didn't look very natural.
Well, no, and which game is this?
That was in Hyrule Warriors.
Oh, Hyrule, yes, of course, yes, indeed, yes, because Hyrule Warriors, we've got their great graphics and sort of all modern gameplay, etc., but then they're sitting there like that, and there's nothing coming out of their mouths, which is very strange.
It was awkward, I think.
Well, yes, it was awkward, and I think they tried to keep with the tradition there that Link doesn't speak. He just sort of says, hold on, and just makes grunts and noises that make in a passionate sort of way.
Well, I don't mind Link not speaking, I think, because, he's kind of the silent hero. But then again, I suppose also Samus didn't used to speak, and they made her speak another M, and that didn't go too well down. But yes, I think it would be okay if Link didn't talk at all, old chap. But if the other characters are going to talk, then I personally think we've come to the time when it's time for them to start using some voice actors. That's just my opinion on the matter.
Well, yes, I think if they're going to use voice actors, then you would have to have Link in talking as well. And perhaps they're scared of that. Perhaps they think, well, we don't know. We would want to make sure we get the right voice actor. Now, there has been some rumours and talk about this, has there not?
Yes, rumours on the horizon, but of course nothing final, because as yet those characters have never been fully voiced. I mean, they've always had voice actors who made the grunts and the various cries and etc. and so forth, but nothing actually in the form of the spoken word.
No, indeed, yes. I think it's something they can certainly add, and perhaps it's even needed to be added with these new graphics and things that we've got, better gameplay and more up-to-date things we've seen in the past.
It's certainly the norm these days, and any other game that tried to have characters with spoken lines with no speaking or talking, as it were, I don't think they get away with it, old chap.
They wouldn't get away with it, and they're getting away with the Link, but I think they're going to have to just put their hands up and admit that they're going to have to do it soon. Who knows? They could start it in this game. We don't know.
Well, I hope so, but we'll have to see. Indeed, this game certainly does appear to be a very open world and very sort of non-linear approach to Zelda, as opposed to Skyward Sword, which was quite linear and, dungeon-driven and path-driven. This one's got this huge, sprawling open world with all these dungeons. It's going for the Skyrim-style approach, and I think there's any number of places that Nintendo could be taking the story this time.
Well, certainly, and as we see this large open expanse and big world, of course, as well, we've got to also think, well, they're obviously going to be dungeons, places to explore, temples, whatever, towns, etc., so forth. So I wonder what they're going to look like.
Well, indeed, they're going to be in keeping with this cartoon style, cel-shaded style of graphic, which is an interesting mix between the cel-shaded style and the realistic style, because it's not strictly Wind Waker, old boy. I mean, you've got a lot of realism in that grass and the beams and the high definition of it all, but of course, on the other hand, it's also got some cel-shaded edges to Link and the other various features and parts of the world. So it's a bit of a mix of the two, I think.
Well, it's a mix, and they've got a sort of zoomed out view there, so it looks perhaps more lifelike than the cartoonish effect it would have if it was up close.
Well.
So we can't really see. But of course, the thing is, this is quite different. As you say, nothing like Wind Waker, which was perhaps too far over the other side.
That was a cartoon, yes.
Yes, it was a cartoon, but the thing is also not what the same chap showed us at E3 last year.
No, that's right. It's not the tech demo. That's right.
No, indeed. He was saying, look, this is the game, and everyone assumed that was it. And all of a sudden, we've changed and said, now we've gone cartoony.
Well, yes,
It's
certainly
strange.
semi-cartoony is an interesting design choice, but
Yes.
it seems that Mr. Miyamoto thinks that's the way to go, so we'll have to wait and see what he does with the game, not only in regard to graphics, but also as regards the gameplay, the storyline, the technology, the setting, etc., and so forth.
Well, yes, exactly. Just talking about the gameplay there, one thing, of course, they are going to do is to be using that gamepad there to navigate, as he explained on the trailer, the little thing they showed us, to navigate around this open world with.
Yes, that's right, which is a rather clever idea, perhaps a touch fiddly if you're going to be setting beacons with the gamepad, but I'm sure they'll have alternate input methods as well.
Most certainly, and I wonder what they'll do, if they'll do anything with multiplayer.
Well, yes, I mean, it's not very much known for multiplayer Zelda, so perhaps, I don't know, maybe there won't be a multiplayer mode, but certainly I think if they were going to take this large open world here, it does invite a multiplayer mode, perhaps co-op campaigns they could consider, a bit like Assassin's Creed perhaps,
Yeah.
but Nintendo aren't really known for that sort of thing. I think they like to stick to the single-player approach and perhaps just have local multiplayer on the, perhaps on the two screens there, I think. I don't think we're going to be seeing online for this game.
Well,
Myself.
maybe, but most certainly some extremely interesting points there. A right-handed Link, tunics and things and colours that we've not seen before, capes with signs and things on
Strange markings.
Strange markings that we've never seen before, maybe a little bit of voice acting and everything else.
That's right, and the full map, of course. So there you are, fellows.
Yes.
This has been quite a close inspection of the new Legend of Zelda on Wii U. I'm sure you're as excited as we are for this game, and I dare say we'll bring you more news as it becomes available, you know.
We most certainly will, yes indeed. And also don't forget to go and have a look over on our other channel, the Chaps Play, where we're doing a playthrough there of the old Captain Toad.
Another Nintendo game.
Another Nintendo title, and it's rather fun.
It's rather fun, I say. Indeed, thank you very much for joining us, fellows, I say. I'm going to see you once more, the next exciting outing, my word. Until then.